United States of America, the most powerful nation on earth, the country I was born and raised in. It's a huge country, as you probably already know, with many different states with their own cultures and uniqueness to them. So today, we're going to look at a completely random fact that you'll forget by the time the video is over about all 50 US states that make them unique. We'll be going from the first state admitted to the Union to the most recently added state. Now, I just need two favors. Remember to like the video and remember to enjoy the video. Here we go. First, we'll start with the first state, which is Delaware. And there's absolutely nothing interesting about Delaware. So let's move on to our next state. No, but seriously, Metropolis is actually located in Delaware. In the 2006 film, Superman Returns, the Metropolis license plates, which are the longest lasting license plates of any state, bear the slogan, the first state, which Delaware is. Pennsylvania. The oldest roller coaster still operating is Leap the Dips, located at Lakemont Park in Altoona. New Jersey. During Napoleon Bonaparte's autopsy, his penis was removed and has since exchanged hands a number of times. It was last inherited by a New Jersey woman, whose father kept it in a suitcase under his bed for 30 years. Georgia. There's a law in Atlanta prohibiting you from tying a giraffe to a telephone pole. You are also prohibited from tying a giraffe to a street lamp. Connecticut. Unless you can prove you're blind, it's illegal for anyone in Connecticut to use a white walking cane in public. Massachusetts. Christmas used to be illegal in Massachusetts and much of New England, and remained taboo in that part of the country until at least 1870, when the feds declared it a national holiday. Maryland. McDaniel College in Westminster offers a class breaking down South Park episodes and analyzing the social issues the show portrays. South Carolina. Myrtle Beach is the largest spring break destination in the country. More college kids spend their time here than anywhere else in the country every year. New Hampshire. The top of Mount Washington in New Hampshire is said to have the worst weather on Earth. A world record for wind speed was clocked here at 231 miles per hour or 372 kilometers per hour. Virginia. At the height of Pokemon Go, a number of players tried sneaking into a highly classified military explosive plant in Virginia because a Charizard was reportedly located inside the arsenal. New York. There is actually way more to the state than New York City. The rest of the state has lots of beautiful areas and has some very populated areas as well. In fact, this is my native state. I'm from Buffalo to be exact. As far as an actual fact goes, Martin Van Buren was born in Kinderhook and was the only US president to have English as his second language, his first being Dutch. North Carolina. In North Carolina, if a man and woman who aren't married go to a hotel and register themselves as married, then according to state law, they are married. Rhode Island. The state shell of Rhode Island is the Quahog shell. It's not just a random name that Family Guy created to name a town in Rhode Island. Vermont. The tallest building in Vermont, the Decker Towers, is only 124 feet or 38 meters tall. For reference, the 100th tallest building in New York City is 631 feet or 192 meters tall. Kentucky. A family of people with blue skin lived in Kentucky for many generations. The Folgates of Troublesome Creek is thought to have gained their blue skin through a combination of inbreeding and a rare genetic condition known as mehemoglobinemia. Tennessee. Tennessee has a state park named after the first Grand Wizard of the KKK, Nathan Bedford Forrest. Ohio. By state law, no one may be arrested on a Sunday or on the 4th of July in Ohio. Louisiana. Louisiana is the only state in the US that completely forbids owning human bones. Indiana. In Indiana, by law, you have to choose between having a mustache and kissing, as having a mustache forbids you from being allowed to kiss someone. Mississippi. Mississippi is the only state to allow drivers to drink alcohol while operating a motor vehicle. And, well, they also have the most car accidents per capita. Illinois. In Illinois, it's illegal to eat in a burning building. Alabama. A whole 1/4 of people in Alabama are illiterate. Maine. There's a town in Maine called Nebraska that primarily speaks 83% French. Missouri. Single men between the ages of 21 and 50 must pay an annual tax of $1. Arkansas. In Arkansas, beating your wife is allowed once a month. I'm not joking. It's state law. Michigan. The youngest person to ever graduate from the University of Michigan at the age of 17 was also a murderer, Richard Loeb. Florida. Florida road rangers offer no-cost assistance and will bring you gas if you run out. They also carry jumper cables, oil, radiator fluid, etc. Texas. In 1962, at the University of Texas at Austin, Janis Joplin was voted ugliest man on campus. Iowa. You've probably heard the phrase, greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, sliced bread was invented here in Iowa in the 1920s. Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you can go into a bar at any age and drink, as long as you're with a consenting parent, legal guardian, or spouse who is over 21. Unsurprisingly, Wisconsin has been named the drunkest state in the country. California. 8 of the top 10 cities with the highest unemployment rates in America are in California. Minnesota. There's a room in Minnesota where 99.99% of all sounds are blocked. This leads people in it to hear their blood flowing and heart pumping, and eventually leading to hallucinations. Oregon. A woman in Oregon started a wildfire to give some work to her bored firefighter friends. Eventually, the fire, named as the Sunnyside Turnoff Wildfire, spread to about 80 square miles, 51,000 acres, costing nearly $8 million to fight, and took 2 months to bring under complete control. Kansas. In Lawrence, Kansas, it's illegal to wear a beat in your hat. West Virginia. Don't you think about swearing in public in West Virginia, as it's a $1 fine. Nevada. There is a water-filled cave in Nevada that experiences miniature tsunamis in response to earthquakes as distant as Japan. Nebraska. In Nebraska, a parent can be arrested if his or her child can't hold back a burp during a church service. Colorado. As recently as 2012, the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death, was reported in Colorado. North Dakota. Approximately a third of the population of North Dakota is of Norwegian ancestry. Over 1,700 people still speak Norwegian as their first language, despite not being immigrants themselves. South Dakota. South Dakota has more shoreline than Florida. Montana. Montana's size is underestimated by a lot of people, but its area could cover those of the Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, state of New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia combined. Washington. In Washington state, by law, it's illegal to harass Bigfoot. Idaho. Idaho has the most neutral-speaking dialect of any state in the country. Wyoming. One of the most popular foods in Wyoming are bison burgers. Compared to beef burgers, bison meat has lesser calories, less fat, and more protein content. Utah. In the town of Virgin, Utah, a law was passed which requires every homeowner to keep and maintain a firearm. Oklahoma. We know how hard Oklahoma gets hit with tornadoes, but they also experience more earthquakes than anywhere else in the entire world. New Mexico. The Breaking Bad house had to install fencing due to pizzas being thrown at it. Arizona. There's a biker gang from Arizona who help keep child abuse victims safe while the child's abuser is prosecuted, including guarding their houses at night if a person is not yet in jail, and attending court with the child, shielding them so they don't have to look at their abuser. Alaska. The U.S. purchased Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million, which, when adjusted for inflation, is $118 million, nearly $2.5 million less than what Real Madrid paid for Cristiano Ronaldo. Hawaii. Mongooses were introduced to Hawaii to control the invasive rat population. However, rats are nocturnal and mongooses are diurnal. Hawaii now has a problem with both. Those were 50 random facts about all 50 states in the US. I hope you gained at least a bit of knowledge. Some facts definitely surprised me during my research. Tell me which fact was the strangest, or tell me your home state in the comments, or if you don't live in the US. Alright, that'll do it. Please share this video, it would be massively appreciated, and I need all of you to stay outrageous.